In my time as an amateur filmmaker and critic, I've seen a lot of bad movies. You've got things like Dumbo, which are just egregiously bad, but then you've got movies that, they're bad, but you kind of want to watch them. They're like, guilty movies, stuff that you feel bad for enjoying. Stuff like, there's a movie called Tad, I really like that. And then in the middle, you've kind of got this section of stuff that isn't good. It's not bad. It's not egregiously bad. It's not good, and it's not even ironically good. Like, I don't want to watch it, but it's nowhere close to the badness that is Dumbo. And those movies are stuff like Scales, Mermaids Are Real. My sister basically said, hey, you're gonna stay here, and you're gonna watch Scales, Mermaids, they're pretty real, man. And I was like, damn, seriously? Scales, mermaids awoke? She's like, yeah. Scales, mermaids get smart. Doors.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
So I want you to just get prepared for this movie because you probably haven't seen it because it's only in Australia. And I started out this review originally by saying that all the child actors are bad, but then I decided not to say that because all the actors are bad. I'd recommend putting on socks. Scale starts with a monologue about how a character loves water.
And yet, in life, I stay pretty far away from it.
Then she goes to a school, and there's this new kid, and he has brittle bones disease. And it's like, oh man, he's got brittle bones disease. It's so unfortunate that he has brittle bones disease. Did you know that he has brittle bones disease? I feel really bad for that kid with brittle bones disease. But for some reason, the kid's still going to a public school. Because, if there's one place that I don't want to be if I had brittle bones disease, it would be at a public school. Calcium's important, dude. So, it basically is just 2 minutes of them walking and talking about how it's so unfortunate the kid has brittle bones disease. And the main character kid, whose name is Siren, says, ooh, what if I could move water? And there's like a glass or something here.
Siren? What is it, Siren?
Why are you confused? Like, you were trying to move the water, which means that you knew you could do it. If you didn't know that you could do that, why were you trying? I don't randomly go, ooh, I wonder if I can move that water. Brittle bones disease. So then, she goes, oh no, the hell's happening? Hey miss, can I go to the bathroom? And the teacher goes, okay. And she runs off, and she storms off. Someone's like, oh damn, she on her period? You know how girls are. Men jokes, am I right? Fist bump.
Metamorphosis.
So then, instead of going to the bathroom, she goes home, and she tells her mom there's no school.
Nothing, Mom. School's canceled.
What do you mean it's canceled?
Run.
So she tells her mom there's no school, and then her friend does the same thing and comes home, and like, okay, if your mum believes that school got cancelled, that means it has to be really early in the day. Because if you arrive like halfway through the day, there's no way she's going to believe that. Therefore, it's early in the day. Therefore, if they decide to both skip school, they'll be gone for the rest of the day. Therefore, they're missing like every single class. Apart from their first period, which is, it's an Australian movie, so I'm going to assume there's 5 periods. And that means that they're missing out on 4 periods, which is 4 roll calls, which means there's so many opportunities for someone to go, hey, your kid's not at school. And she goes, oh, I thought school was cancelled. But no, they never get caught. And her mom's like, hey, I got you fish sandwiches. You want some? And it's like, ooh, I wonder if she's a mermaid. Nah, in a mermaid movie, that can't be right. So they decide to go walk down to the beach, and they pass by every single other student from their school. Is it still period 1? Was there a time skip that I didn't know about? Why is everyone else out here? Are you saying every other person also skipped class for 4 periods? Her friend she says, hey, I can manipulate water, and her friend goes, wow, I don't believe you. And then she does it, and then her friend goes, ooh, I don't believe you. Hey, by the way, do you want a magic necklace? But, like, literally, in the next shot, she's just not wearing it. So does she just not care about her friend now? And you may be thinking, you know, oh, this necklace, it's glowing, right? It must have some kind of plot relevance. It must be like a mermaid kind of charm. No. It's not important. It doesn't come up again. That's a running theme in this movie. Her, fake stepmom talks about her real mom, and they look at photos, and it's really jarring how every scene just kind of, you know, changes. It's like if you were an idiot with a bad haircut watching TV and you said, I'm gonna go to the beach. So you put on a polo shirt and a jacket like some kind of golfer meets New York millennial, and it immediately cuts to you in a bar with a different shirt and accent talking about your Fallout 76 hot take.
I think it is very bad.
And I'm starting to think that there were a lot of scenes removed, or the writer just doesn't know how to write a movie. Or maybe the editor just doesn't really know how to, you know, like, edit stuff. Then the conversation ends abruptly out of nowhere, and she goes to her window for no reason, and she gets hit in the head with a rock. She goes into a 7-year coma and eventually dies. Okay, I'm just kidding. You want to know who threw the rock? Brittle Bones Kid!
Did I hit you?
And besides, this is rural Australia. You know how many rocks there are? There's like boulders everywhere, man. Like, you go, oh, I'm just gonna keep walking, and then, oh no, guess what? There was a giant boulder in front of you, and you didn't see it, and now you're tumbling down a cliff. Welcome to Australia.
I'm not stalking you or anything, I swear.
So then, the main character, Siren, and goes on a walk with the Brittle Bones Kid, and they talk about stuff, and they're like, hey, wait, what are we talking about? And Brittle Bones is like, oh, I don't even know where we are. And she's like, oh, cool, you want to walk back home? And he was like, yeah, this is really productive. So they just kind of walk, and then they walk back. Wow, I don't see this becoming romantic. But, like, they're walking, and then instead of saying anything, you know, normal, he says, hey, you're pretty.
You're really pretty.
And she laughs, and she's nervous, and she's like, oh, sorry. I laugh when I'm nervous. And the Brittle Bones Kid goes, you never have to be nervous around me. I don't know what's going on in this movie anymore. I thought this was about mermaids. Why is she dating a Brittle Bones Kid now? Then they do like an exposition dump about Brittle Bones' dad. Then her friend says, hey, I'm gonna come over. And the main character goes, wait, I need to ask my mom. And the friend says,
I'm coming over for dinner tonight, okay? I'll have to check with my mom. No, you won't. It's happening.
Hey, what you trying to say to me?
And then they cut to them talking about a pyramid scheme or something. I can't really tell.
Anyone want to tell me what's going on? You know how my mom goes off to work every couple of years, and I come live 3 years at sea, 3 years on land. She actually goes into the ocean.
I mean, you do have to go into the water for a little
What
bit.
are you talking about?
Half-breed mermaids live 3 years in the water and 3 years on land, and you are a... Could you help me here?
Honey, you're a mermaid.
We're only 15 minutes in, and let's recall what happened. We found out she can manipulate water. There's a Brittle Bones Kid who likes her, and now she's going to meet with like a mermaid cult or something. Like, it's been 15 minutes, and we're just flying through this. And then they eat fish lemons. Yep, it's what happens. Fish lemons. Then they have this full-on talk about mermaids and how she's a half-breed, and it's jarring because they start in the middle. Okay. Siren, you're a mermaid. But instead it's like, hey Siren, well, I have something important to tell you. Half-breed mermaids need to go into the water every 3 years. What? Yes, it's just what half-breed mermaids do. What does that have to do with me? Well, you're a mermaid.
This would explain why I can control water.
You can do what now? Some mermaids can manipulate water. I'm magic. But the mermaids that can manipulate water have a secondary ability. they can heal people. They start cutting, and their blood heals people.
Blood may also have healing powers.
Cut, a bruise, maybe, it's pretty specific, but, if you, for instance, had brittle bones disease. And she goes, what? My blood heals people? And they go, yeah, it's gonna be pretty valuable for the hunters.
The hunters?
I'm so sorry, but you have less than an hour left to live. Oh, crap. Oh, thanks, I guess. They have still given zero evidence that these mermaid people are not so psychos. And it still makes zero sense, pretty much. So the main character gets really mad, and she's like, I'm mad at you. I don't like water anymore. I'm gonna go take a bath. And so she gets in the bath, and then she starts getting webbed feet for some reason. And we're like, wow, she's never had a bath before now? Or is it just because it's coming up to her 12th birthday? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, when you turn 12, that's when you grow your tail, by the way. Yeah. Pretty convenient that it is exactly 12 years after your birth in the Gregorian calendar. Why do mermaids run on the Gregorian calendar? The Gregorian calendar didn't exist before 1582, so did mermaids just not exist before then? Pope Gregory was a mermaid! Wake up, sheeple! Is it important? I mean, it's more important than the fish thing or the glowing necklace, but so pretty relevant. So, I'm so confused. So why did she go, I'm a mermaid, let me get into the bath? Was it to test things? If so, why is she surprised? But then what she does... She doesn't make a sound. She doesn't do anything. She just silently falls out of the bathtub without a sound, and her mom goes, my spidey senses are tingling. Siren! And her mom bolts over to the bath for no reason and picks her up and is like, oh my gosh, Siren. Oh man, no one saw this coming. Did they seriously not warn her when she tried to have a bath? I mean, it's not like she was hiding it from them. Like, what did they expect to happen? The only, conclusion I can make is that the mum has Siren on a heart monitor. Siren then wakes up in hospital, because I'm sure all hospitals are well trained in the extremely secretive act of mermaid maturity. And she asks, how many people out there are mermaids? About 10, but there are more elsewhere. She goes, elsewhere? Where?
At where?
Hi, I'm your host. Welcome to Hot Seat, where we ask the questions that no one else dares to ask. Our contestant today is named... Kyle? So, Kyle, your first question. Where do mermaids live? Is it A, the ocean, B, the moon, C, the rainforest, or D, the desert? Oh, this is a tricky one, Jim. I think I'm gonna have to go with answer B, the moon. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer was the ocean. They're mermaids. You idiot. Then they introduced more dumb rules about the half-bloods and the pure breeds. Siren's mom is the queen of the mermaids. Like, why can't I just watch this dumb mermaid movie without being assaulted by so many details? This movie's like taking 10 tabs of acid during a fever dream and then snorting a bunch of speed to accelerate the effects. And she meets some guy who's the Brittlebones' dad, and he's like 7 foot tall with like such a chiseled jawline. And she tells him all the things you don't want to tell someone when you find out that people are hunting you. Yeah, I'm nearly 12, which is the coming of age for mermaids. My name is Siren.
Siren? Well, that's a curious name.
It's the only name I've ever had, so it's not very curious to me.
And she straight up asks, hey.
You guys hunters?
Depends on what's being hunted.
Are you guys hunters? Like, why would you ask that? Alright, this is a robbery. I have sharpness 5 on this thing, and I'm not afraid to use it. Hand over all the money in that bank vault or I kill everyone in this room. Wait a minute. Are you a bank robber? Yes.
I love this movie. I love mermaids too.
Siren's real mother is the leader of the mermaids, and is also beautiful too.
Gamer dudes and dudettes.
This is cool. Siren is the name of a scary mermaid with scary but pretty blue eyes.
Wanna go on a walk, Dad?
Sure. Take a walk. After all, you have 2 legs, don't you?
Wanna go on a walk, Dad?
Sure. Take a walk. After all, you have 2 legs, don't you?
Foreshadowing. Damn, this movie is really thematically coherent. She tells Brittlebones' kid that she's a mermaid, and he instantly goes, "Oh, cool. I believe you. Evidence? What's that?"
I'm a mermaid.
Hey, what you trying to say to me?
I'm not a mermaid yet. Okay, I'm actually having a hard time telling if you're joking. I'm not joking.
I'm an actor.
Oh man. Oh god, oh man.
Then Brittlebones is like, hey, come here. Let's go down to the docks, and I'm gonna show you a shipping container.
Wow. What exactly does your dad do again? I'm kind of looking at it. He collects stuff. Nautical stuff. Is that the reason he moved here? To be close to him?
Man, the acting is just on point in this movie. Then he shows her this magic stick.
It's lighter than I would have thought. My dad said the core is balsa wood and the outside's something called snake wood.
Is it? Is it, Adam? Thank you for the lesson about wood. I really needed to know about what type of wood this plot device is made out of. There's a tally to the plot device counter for the stick, and 2 tallies for the 2 types of wood. Why do I need to know about the type of wood? And also the girl's like, wow, this magic stick is so pretty. And the brittle kid goes, yeah, you too. Pretty savage.
It's beautiful. So are you.
And she's just like, bruh. So now she just told the child of a confirmed hunter that she is a mermaid. I mean, it is pretty obvious that when you find a kid with brittle bones and you know that mermaids can cure that, and you know this kid with Brittlebones' dad is a hunter, that he kind of want to kill you. When she gets home, she gets given a magic collar because her gills are going to start, acting up and choking her. Because there's just not enough plot elements in play right now.
It's an aerator. It's going to help you transition from land to sea. You need to keep this on you until you're in the water, okay?
What do I do with it?
When your gills start to come in, you're going to need to put this...
Ew, yuck.
Then they have this full-on talk about mermaids and how she's a half-breed, and it's jarring because they start in the middle. What do I do with it? Well, when your gills come in... Half an hour of movie. What the hell? Then she asks her fake mom about the magic stick, and she's like...
Where did you hear that?
Boy at my school, he had these old books, and his dad had a replica of it in his storage locker.
What boy? When did he move here?
I don't know.
How many people did he move here with? We had a nice moment. Now I'm asking you some very important questions. How did you meet his dad?
She says, don't speak to that Birtle kid anymore. She says, yes, Mom, I promise. Haha, just kidding, loser. She has a dream or a vision about her real mom, and it's really confusing. One of the other mermaids calls her Fishy, and she's like, oi! You talking about me?
Hey there.
They continue talking about the magic stick. Okay, so I don't have much of a storyboard yet, but here's what we do. Part 1. We have them talking about this magic stick. Part 2. A Vision, Part 3, more talking about the stick. Any questions? Yeah, you in the back. Why have the Vision scene at all if, you know, it's just gonna be the same conversation? Because that wouldn't confuse the viewer, okay? So how about you shut up? Also, you're fired. Why did the Vision happen? Like, why would you, like, because, you know, you've got one conversation, but then you put a massive right in it so you can put in this Vision. Why? Why not just finish the conversation? I don't understand. Then her fake mom tells her to shut up and stop being innocent because the ocean is dangerous.
Spend a few years out in the ocean being hunted by sharks and we can talk about it.
Tiffany!
Sorry, it's early and I have a lot going on in my head right now.
I don't care what's going on in your head. You're not the one being hunted right now. But her fake mom isn't a mermaid, so why should she know? Then they realize they're having another mermaid meeting.
Spill it. Who are they?
Why don't you come to the meeting tonight and find out for yourself?
But the fake mom is invited, even though she's not a mermaid. So why is she invited? Then she starts growing some gills, and she really doesn't like it because she thinks it's gross. I mean, it's puberty. It's really clearly an analogy for puberty. Or maybe the movie just didn't even think that far. I don't know, man. Am I giving it too much credit?
Gross.
She starts growing some gills, so she covers it with a scarf despite only being a day ago to use the fish cull thing, otherwise she can't breathe. So she does some bad CGI waterbending and then leaves to go to school, which if I was her, I would not be going to school because you have a very valid excuse not to. Luckily, it's plot convenient.
Cool.
Then the brittle kid kidnaps her and reveals that he needs Siren's blood to become normal to get rid of brittle bones, and she's like, oh yeah, sounds cool, hope I don't get hunted, haha, XD. You know, considering the mentions of periods and metamorphosis, as well as this transition being akin thematically to puberty, and the story being coming of age, saying that you need someone's blood has really weird connotations. Then her gills start acting up because of puberty or something, and then she faints.
I'll make you better, but on my own terms. Really? Okay, what are your terms? Well, no killing me. That's a term. Reasonable. What else? Can we talk about this later?
Principal is like, hey, what's going on? And someone goes, metamorphosis. And the principal's like, haha, gotcha, I'm also a mermaid.
She didn't bring it. Principal Strauss, I need help!
What is it? What happened?
Save me, super guy! No.
And then they take her and lock her in a room and she can't escape. And then they start ringing the fire escape for some reason. Then the kids don't know what H2O is for some reason, despite being in like year 8 or 9.
H2O, you know, 2 hydrogens to 1 oxygen. Hasn't Miss Harper talked to you all about this?
Nope.
Or even if they're in grade 6, it doesn't excuse them. I mean, come on. And then the hunters and Brittle Kid's dad arrive to straight up shoot up the school. Principal tells the main character's friend to take her to the river room, which is some sort of safe house. And I mean, why doesn't the teacher just do it herself? Brittlebone's dad is gone, so he steals a bike. Why does he know how to ride a bike? He has Brittlebones. Surely he shouldn't be riding a bike, so how could he learn if he's not allowed to ride a bike? How did he learn without failing? Why is stealing not being punished? What's going on in this movie? What is a movie?
Hey!
Hey!
So now the main character is blindfolded. Where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Then she gets unblindfolded. They're not even at the place they're supposed to be yet. They just unblindfold her, so she knows exactly where they are now. It's not a secret or anything. So why was she blindfolded? I don't know. It's the water treatment. That's where the secret base is, which I'm guessing there's only one, so it's not really a secret, and once you kind of see that you're at a water treatment station, you know where the water treatment station is, so why bother blindfolding her? Then all of the other mermaids are here, including the principal, who said she'd stay behind. How did the principal make it here first? I don't know. In fact, how did any of them make them here first? If the principal was calling the meeting, how did they arrive before the people who left first?
First order of the day. Who's in charge of the bake sale on Thursday?
I mean, there were no cars around, so... Then everyone touches them, like that weird part of church when you're, like, sick. Then the mermaid cult, like, giving her their energy.
Why do I feel so warm?
It's their energy. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah?
Which is great! Let's add more cool plot elements. Whee! Brittlebone spies on his dad and is immediately caught, and he fights with his dad minorly about butterflies. And the kid is like, no, please, I don't want to be cured. But son, it's not your choice. I'm being selfish. It's not my son, you're being normal. Then we go back to the mermaid cult at the water plant, and they prepare to do something. I honestly don't know what their plan is, and I've actually watched the movie, but then all the mermaids start singing, and the mom explains how...
You're officially a mermaid, honey.
What's happening? Are they singing?
Whaling. Each mermaid whale is unique.
What a good and not over-encumbering detail! This isn't Lord of the Rings. You don't need to have a billion plot elements for a single movie. Lord of the Rings is a special case because it's 4 books plus the Silmarillion. It was a dude's life work. It wasn't meant to be enjoyed like a regular story. I'm not watching Lord of the Rings, one of the most successful fantasy books of all time. I'm watching Scales. Mermaids are kind of alright, I guess. This movie doesn't need all of this lore. It's just pointless, because it doesn't use it in a funny, creative, original way. For example, in Skullduggery Pleasant, my favorite fantasy book series, they say that when you turn 18, or somewhere around that, you get this thing called a surge, which is where your magic starts to swell up, and whatever you were the most proficient in, you're stuck with that skill forever. Everything else you've learned kind of goes out the window, so you should pick one thing that you want to learn, so that when your surge comes, you're more powerful at that. And this is a cool detail, but it's not just a detail for the sake of being a cool detail. One of the books, Deathbringer, has one of the characters who's got some special magic symbols on her body, which have also been established, that can make her have her surge over and over and over again, so she keeps getting more and more and more powerful at her magic. And it's physically painful and mentally degrading, and it has some consequences, like she can't use all of her magic forever. She'll eventually get super tired, and when she is using it, she is more of a psychopathic killer. But it's a creative use of that. Later on in the 8th or 9th book, one of the characters basically gets all the magic taken out of their body and put it as its own person, and now she can't use magic, because obviously, you know, her magic's gone, it's its own person now, so she can't use magic. So what's gonna happen when her surge comes? Well, she becomes the first person to have a surge without magic, giving her a whole new type of magic, which, you know, most of the time I go, oh, another Mary Sue getting their own special power, but this time, it makes sense. It's been kind of explained in the universe, it's been done before, and it's not over-encumbering like the details in this movie.
You know how whales have songs?
When you're making one singular book, or one singular movie, or Scales, mermaids should probably go extinct because it just doesn't make any sense. You're not going to add all of this lore, but for some reason, Scales wants to do that. You could probably get rid of all of these details. You could just boil it down to, when you turn 12, you turn into a mermaid, and there are other mermaids, and my mom's the queen, so you have healing blood. That's it. That's what you gotta add. We don't need to know whaling stuff, especially since none of that gets expanded on. Then Brittle Kid goes, I know who the mermaids are. And the dad goes, who? And the Brittle Kid goes, I'm not telling. It's the main character, isn't it? Isn't it? Cool. Grab the guns, we're going to her house. I mean, what part of don't tell your dad you know I'm a mermaid do you not understand? Now we randomly cut to the ocean, where there's a bunch of stuffed unicorns in the water. Ask me why. Come on, ask me why. Ask me why there are a bunch of unicorns in the water. Come on, I dare you. You want to know? I have no idea! We're barely halfway through this movie. Then they introduce some more people who have like names or something that just appear. And they have this femstone staff, which lets them make a force field. But there are other femstones that do other things. This movie is real dumb. Why are there so many details?
This is a femstone, and it does lots of things, much like your necklace there. This one creates a force field about 6 feet around us.
Cool. Can I get one that does that?
Maybe when you come back.
I'm really getting tired of shouting. I can't even do it anymore. Then the non-mermaid fake mom tells them more about mermaid puberty, which isn't as egregious as other dumb femstone sticks or whatever. Still such a weird detail. Like, they're adding from a character who isn't even a mermaid, so why would she know? She literally has said to the mermaid that she's not as knowledgeable, so why does she not only know how magic mermaid puberty works, but she's responsible for telling the main character about it. And then the main character has another vision of her mother, but it's midday, so was she awake during the vision, or did she have a nap or something? The mom goes, tomorrow we're gonna go to the safe house, because the hunters are hunting you. How do you know the hunters are hunting me? And 2 mermaids with force field sticks get tranquilized, and the hunters break in. It's like 10 o'clock, but 2 seconds ago is midday. Why is it suddenly nighttime? What the hell? Brittle Kid reveals he betrayed the main character, but no he didn't, yes he did. No he didn't, yes he did, no he didn't. Alright, now let's run away to a cave?
Get me to cave? This whole thing is a fairy tale! A folklore. My blood may not even heal you.
See, we totally have character traits and definitely are not just blank slates. My character trait is that I'm a fish. And also I say ew a lot. What cave? I don't know. Time to confront each other about our non-existent character traits. Then the Brittle Kid climbs up a tree and the main character's like, let's go to the river room.
I need to go to the river room. What's the river room? You really don't know much about what's going on, do you?
Damn, Brittle Bones Kid, you don't know much about mermaids, do you? Okay, listen, Siren. 1, you didn't know what it was a day ago. 2, I barely know what it is. 3, you didn't explain it to him. Why would he know? Shut up, kid. And finally, 4, why would you tell the hunter's son, who already betrayed you like 3 times before, where the secret mermaid club is? Then she goes to the safe house and the teacher's there for some reason and they get ready for her to transition. Now we're at some other place and the Brittle Kid is here and all the mermaids decided to come meet the hunters for some reason. Why did they come out of hiding for this? Who knows, don't question it. Then the fake mom gets kidnapped and no one said her name, it's just the main character's been calling her mum, so when the hunters say Tiffany, I got no clue who that is, but Tiffany's the fake mum, by the way. Then one of the mermaids is like, I'll trade myself off and you could use my blood. And they go, lol, nope, instead let's kidnap all of you. So they zip tie all the mermaids for some reason when they could have just had one of them, and then the hunters run after the fake mum because non-mermaid hostages matter for some reason.
Not a chance.
Oh, hey there, ladies. Everything okay? Oh, hey there, Tiffany. Everything okay?
They pass a jogger who was running away from the place in an early shot, but is now running towards the place. I guess continuity is a lie. The Brittle Kid finally breaks his ribs, which has been like a Chekhov's gun. I mean, he probably should have done it like ages ago in the movie, but okay.
I want to help Siren, please.
She gets another present. Of course she does, and this time it's one of those mermaid bras, because that's just what we need to complete the stereotypical mermaid movie. Yay.
I'm excited. I haven't been around a guppy for a while.
Thank you?
The girl swims around while her mum's in a hostage situation, but oh no, she can't swim. This definitely be relevant later.
We're gonna have to work on your form. Is it that bad? Well, it's not that good. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, never mind. 5 seconds later, she's a full mermaid, now she can swim. Why did we bother spending time on the fact that she can't swim? I don't know. Then they get mermaid girl Siren in a wheelchair and put her in a truck to take her to the ocean. Then there's the only good shot in the entire movie, where you see a bad guy moving through the reflection of a window.
Personally, I would have cut it like this, but, you know, that's just me.
Then we see fake mom at the safe house, and the hunter starts flirting with her, and it gets really dumb at this point.
You're a really bad liar. I like that about you.
The hunters raid their safe house, and for some reason all the hostages are suddenly freed out of nowhere. They actually use the force field for once, but it instantly makes no sense because fake mom gets kidnapped again. They all decide to head to the beach.
We've stalled them. The others are already down by the beach, and I'm sure Siren's changed by now.
Let's go to the beach.
But the hunters just followed you to the safe house. Why wouldn't they follow you to the beach? Sorry, this whole script is a big word salad because this movie makes barely any sense. It's pretty hard for me to explain just everything that's going on in this movie because it barely makes any sense to me. We get ready for the pivotal point. Main character is being lowered into the water. Hunters right behind them. The tail is so obviously fake, I'm dying. It ruins this whole dramatic scene. And then we cut to a completely different camera. It's really jarring. And oh no, the hunters are here. But the main character has all done her whole arc trying to get to the water. So I'm no longer invested in what happens to these nameless other mermaids at all, because I didn't come to learn what happens for Brittle Kid or Tiffany. Then the microphone changes and all the dialogue is dumb. I'll just let it play.
You look like you'll be changing pretty soon, won't you?
You remember what I said about connotations, right?
Brittle Bones Kid who just broke the bone walks all the way down to the beach by himself and asks, "Why are you here?"
Dad?
Adam, what are you doing here?
What are you doing? I don't want this.
Son, this is not the time.
Meaning he didn't know that they were at the beach. Meaning he walked from the hospital to the beach for nothing. What the hell? The main character reunites with her mom and the main character starts making whale sounds. Just watch, it's so stupid, I'm dying.
Hey, Mom! Hey! Hey, Mom! Hey, Mom! Mom, can I tell you something?
Look at how you're acting. Who do you think is half human now? You? Or them?
Damn, you're right. I'm the bad guy. Alright guys, pack it up, we're going home. But then, this other guy, he's like, no, I refuse.
Sir, with all due respect, I need one of these things to prove my methods.
And he's like, I'm not going home without some mermaids. And he throws a spear. And Brittle Bones Kid's like, no, I'm gonna save you. And he jumps up. And the spear goes like that. So he didn't block the spear at all. He just jumped for no reason. And he breaks all his bones. And the spear doesn't even hit anyone. So the guy would have missed anyways. So now the dad's like, oh my gosh, my son, he's dying, what have you done? So the mom steals the magic stick from the hunters, you know, the one from the beginning, and she puts it in the water. And now, the magic stick, it's got a big light on the top, and when you put it in the water, it's like a beacon for other mermaids. But here's the thing, alright? Siren knows that the hunters use this beacon to get mermaids to come so they can spear them, right? So she also knows that there's hunters at the beach. So therefore, it makes sense that the hunters would be using the whaling stick to call her back. So why would she go back if she knows that there's hunters there and she knows that the hunters are using the magic beacon? I mean, yeah, in this case they're not, but why would you risk your own life just in case maybe the hunters had managed to be defeated? Which even then, they weren't. They were just convinced otherwise. Like, it makes no sense for the hunters to have done that, at least from Siren's perspective. So why did she go back? I don't know. Siren is like, hey, I can heal people now. I learned that in the 2 seconds that I was underwater. And also, you know that whole thing about how I can only come up every 3 years, and that was kind of the whole internal conflict for this movie? Well, guess what? Turns out I'm a pureblood, so I can go in and out at any time. Haha, that's crazy. What's up with that? Haha, bless. And really, that just makes me think, how come pureblood mermaids, who are 100% mermaids, can switch between land and sea, while half-breed mermaids, who are half human and half mermaid, have to switch every 3 years? That the ones that are half human aren't allowed to control their form, but the ones that are 100% mermaid are. I mean, I can't just turn into a wolf because I'm half human, but in most cases, a werewolf can, because they're half wolf. Okay, so werewolves probably aren't real in this universe, but it's the same thing. But no, because whoever wrote this movie, they really hate it when you try to think about it. Imagine wanting to consume media and actually have a think about what that media means to you. No, I just consume whatever I'm given without another thought. Then the murderer tries a 4th time. He has a 4th attempt to try and murder a mermaid. It's not over yet. I haven't even unleashed my final form. Oh, you just shot me. Surprise, this is my final form. Being defeated 3 times and still trying is clearly an indication of bad writing. So the mermaid queen makes this big tsunami, and he's like, haha, you'll team kill, so you can't tsunami me. And the main character, Siren, let's just remember, she's only 12, and she goes, you're forgetting something. Your body is 65% water. That literally murders him!
Okay, you have to teach me that move.
Like, there's no repercussions for just straight up murdering someone. At all. Her mum was standing right there. What the heck? I mean, I'm sorry for thinking that people can't get away from murder. Seriously. Then we get a montage of everybody having their own special endings and wondering how will they cope without their best friend, but life is better like this, and we get a voiceover on how the character wants to be romantically involved with fish.
Breathing it, tasting it, loving it.
And then the movie ends. So that was Scales. Mermaids Snort a Bunch of Speed. It's such a bad movie that it's pretty hard to make a video on. It's not egregiously bad like Dumbo or The Room. It's just moderately bad enough that you want to tear out your eyes and cry. Its extreme pacing issues, bland cinematography, and complete lack of coherence or direction for the lore is blatantly obvious. I feel bad for the actors and maybe the director for having to go for this dumpster fire of a movie. IMDb has it as a 4.8 stars out of 10. I rate this 1.8 out of 10. Please shoot me.